Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to me. I'm very excited to be talking to you about some of the projects that the state is doing. Long Island Nitrogen Action Plan started. There we go. Okay. Started in 2015, a governor's initiative, and we received $5 million to start the Long Island Nitrogen Action Plan project, and we've been able to receive funding since then to continue doing lots of work to really try to hone in and focus to remove the nitrogen from the groundwater and the surface water of Long Island. To guide our process, we developed a LINAP scope of work, which included project goals, a planning structure, schedule, and tasks. And it was drafted with input from stakeholder comments collected over the course of 2 years and 5 public meetings. Under the Long Island Nitrogen Action Plan, we have numerous multi-year activities that are going on to decrease the amount of nitrogen in the ground and surface water. This project is, for me, a very unique situation. I've been a government employee my entire career, and usually we're a regulatory agency and we lay down the law and we can go forward. This is a coordination project. As you heard this morning, there's lots of things going on to remove and reduce the amount of nitrogen. And in 2015, it really became apparent to the state that they needed somebody at the state level to really see what's going on, coordinate, make sure that money's being used efficiently, make sure all the projects are coordinating well, not duplicating efforts. And that's what we really do here. And if you look at the number of organizations up there on the screen, you'll see it's federal, state, county, local, NGOs, academia. It's everybody bringing them together because we have one common goal, and that is to reduce the amount of nitrogen. And together we came up with the goals that you see up there, which are pretty classic for a group of, getting to the end of a project. You want to assess the nitrogen, you want to look where the sources are, you want to establish your endpoints, what your finish line is, and you want to develop plans to implement it, right? So I'm going to talk with you about the current initiatives. We have 30 initiatives or more that we're working on, and that list up there is the people that we're working with more frequently. And I thought I'd take the next hour or so and go through all of them in great detail for you. You guys want to do that? I'll make a deal with you. You give me 8 minutes of your time, totally divided, no phones, no nothing, and I'll put it down the floor. How's that? Okay? All right, let's go. So the first one is Solute transport model. This deals with legacy nitrogen. We all know it's in the groundwater. You folks have been hearing about it today. So the Patten Partnership, the Long Island Sound Study, DEC are all working with USGS on this modeling project. And they're looking at inputs, basically the historical inputs of nitrogen from wastewater, fertilizer, things like that, from 1900 to present day. And what that is going to help us do is going to be a tool for managers, because it's going to be island-wide. It's going to be not only Mass on Suffolk, but for Columbia Queens as well. So managers will be able to run scenarios on this model and figure out where the nitrogen is coming from, so they can place management practices in the right time and in the right places. So this will be very helpful moving forward in really honing in and making sure that your practices are in the right place. We already talked about PRBs. I just want to talk about what the state's doing about this. So as we've heard, it's a technology. I won't go back over that. We all understand that. Actually, the DEC has funded PRBs through our Water Quality Improvement Project grant program, and we found that they weren't being installed in a timely fashion, which is a problem when you have grant money. You need to get it spent. And when we went and we talked to municipalities, what was happening, we found that they really weren't prepared for installation. We didn't really know what they should be installing, and there's a lot of information you have to gather ahead of time to make sure you're installing it in the right place and at the right time. So we actually started a guidance document for them to help them do all that pre-work, so to speak, and we just weren't getting there. We ran out of staff time, so we asked the Center for Clean Water Technology to help us finish it, and we expect that out soon, hopefully this year. And we are also working with them on all the wonderful things that Dr. Goldberg talked about regarding PRBs. So when we talk about, I talked about two things so far, and they're really kind of land side activities, but we know that there are things that we need to do, and we've heard about bioextraction, and I want to talk also about the other project I want to talk about is modifications for also water flow exchange projects. So we have actually in New York a nutrient bioextraction initiative. It's funded through in partnership with Long Island Sound Study, DEC, and the New England Interstate Water Pollution Control Commission. And the mission there is to really, look at how we're going to be extracting nutrients by using seaweed and shellfish. It began in 2018, and we're really looking at how we can address the challenges and barriers related to the technical, regulatory, and economic aspects of bioextraction we heard about today. And our goal is, we're like-minded, Dr. Garish, I had never met him before today, but we're on the same page that we have to have this be an industry. And that's the ultimate goal of this initiative, is to do the work as government, but then make that an industry. And I just also want to acknowledge, that there are a lot of very successful, well-established aquaculture industry already going on, and we're doing a great job to build on that. And this initiative is focused on cultivating non-food seaweed and shellfish, and also looking at shellfish species that really aren't normally commercially cultivated, because we want to probably put these in the seaweed and the shellfish into areas that are nutrient impaired, which you can't, if you're going to eat, you can't have it in a nutrient area. So that is a difference. I just want to really note that difference about this initiative. So I'm going to talk a couple of minutes about the things that we're doing as part of the initiative. We're working on a sugar kelp project and a good mussels project. The sugar kelp is building off of the work that's been done with Dr. Yarish, and we're working with Mike to really determine the bioextract capacity of sugar kelp, and also to investigate its use as a fertilizer or manure. With the grid mussels, because that's a product that's not I said a message. Sorry about that. Grid mussels are not something that is used for human food, and we're really on work that the Noah Milford Lab has been doing in Connecticut. And what we're working on is cultivating these mussels in the hatchery, because again, it's not a normal thing, because they're not used for food source, and then taking them and putting them in coastal waters and determining, how much nutrients do they uptake, and also are they uptaking the contaminants that might be a problem after harvest. And that we're working with Cornell Crop Extension on that, and we are also going to see, once we've extracted them, if perhaps it can be used as a food product for animal feed. The aquaculture, the New York, Connecticut Shellfish and Seaweed Aquaculture Viewer, which is a mouthful for me, is something that's on the Long Island Sound website. It's an interactive map based on Yukon Clear's aquaculture mapping atlas. And the purpose of it is to aid in the identification of potential locations for shellfish and seaweed farms. So it provides a lot of spatial information, information on natural resources, environmental conditions, navigation. It's got a lot of information. So please visit if you haven't. We just did a Long Island Sound Seaweed Bioextraction Symposium. As I said in the beginning, our goal is to look at the challenges and barriers from the economic, regulatory, and technical issues. And that symposium was designed to spur the conversation on what do we need to do about those to have that widespread bioextraction industry in New York. And the recordings of the symposium will be ready very soon. The next one on this list is this economic feasibility of commercial bioextraction study. I'm very excited about this study. We got funding from Long Island Sound. We were hiring, we just hired Farmingdale State College to really look at what are the potential markets and what's the overall economic feasibility of a bioextraction industry right here, especially the Long Island Sound. That's where the funding's coming from, so that's what we'll look at first. It's a two-phase study. They're going to start this summer. It's a high-level overview of the existing and potential markets of bioextractive species, and they're going to take in as part of their analysis the nitrogen removal rates of those species and the potential economic impacts, or environmental impacts and barriers as well. So it's a holistic look. From that, we'll get a deliverable that is some recommendations of what are the most promising species in markets. And then we're going to do a phase 2 where we're really hone in on those species and try to come up with some suggestions on these are the species you should be growing because they'll reduce the most nitrogen and they will be an economic industry that we're growing. Lastly, very soon too, we're going to try to drive the marine shellfish aquaculture permitting in New York State. And what that is a guide for new, existing, and existing, new, and prospective aquaculture farmers so they can better understand the laws, the policies, and permitting that goes into marine shellfishing aquaculture in New York State. As you can imagine, it's quite a bit. Our thought is that if people understand better all that regulatory process, that it would really improve communications between applicants and the agencies. It would reduce the time and price to get all the permits, and therefore improve the chances of successful culture operations. So that's what we're doing with aquaculture, which is a big topic for the last couple hours. Okay, transitioning now to the last one on the list. I'll hurry it up and finish it up here. Is water exchange projects. So just so that we're all kind of like, what is a water exchange project and what they are. The concept here is that if you can change the flow of water, then you can potentially push fresh water in and polluted water will come in. And so there are some of these that are on the south shore of Long Island. So in addition to potentially improving water quality, it can also have environmental impacts, quality of life. We have, with funding through the Long Island Sound Study, we hired a consultant really do a high-level study on the effects of these hydrodynamic modifications for certain embayments on the North Shore of Long Island. The goal of the study is to look at whether water exchange projects could really reduce nitrogen within the Long Island Sound and within just the Long Island water system. We're going to have actually a document for that's deliverable. It's designed for public officials so that if they're thinking about, geez, I have a high level of water of nitrogen in this embayment, and I need to deal with it. Is a water exchange project a good idea or not? This is kind of the first cut, so that we will be able to do some kind of sorting and decide if it's a good idea for them or not. So the three types of structures that will be discussed in this report will be environmental dredging, which creates an open channel to allow for more water exchange. Underground type of pump, and that's a more controlled way to either pumping water in or pumping water out. And then the last is underground culvert, and that's just a cut where kind of nature takes its course of pushing water or pulling water out. The three types of embayments that we're going to work on are an open harbor with a sand spit, shallow harbors with open harbor, and then a tidal stream inlet. Those are the three types that they're going to be looking at. And then, so, I think about water quality because that's what I do for my job. But when you do something like this, you have this type of structure, there's obviously other things that have to be discussed and looked at. As a public official, they need to think about all of these things. So the report's going to also include things that the officials should think about, such as the constructability, like what's the initial capital cost, what's the O&M, how long does it take to construct something like this? And think about the environmental impact. Is there a disturbance of wetlands, or are you disturbing some submerged aquatic vegetation, or dealing with threatened or endangered species? What are all the permits that you need to get? And then the last thing is social acceptance. So are there public safety issues? Is there a noise impact, or change in land use? All those types of things. So the study will have all of those. It will be a document that officials will be able to use as they go forward and think about those. So I've gone really quickly through the 4 top things I thought you'd be interested in today, but we're doing a lot more. So I encourage you to please visit our website to learn more what we're doing. We have a monthly e-newsletter that you please sign up for. And of course, you can always send us email. So with that, I'd like to take time.